Mark Zuckerberg, the architect of a connected world.
In the heart of White Plains, New York, a quiet yet curious boy was born on May 14, 1984. His name would eventually echo through Silicon Valley boardrooms and government hearings alike: Mark Elliott Zuckerberg. Raised in the suburban calm of Dobbs Ferry, Mark's early life wasn't marked by wealth or extravagance, but by a steady rhythm of intellect and ambition. His father, a dentist, and his mother, a psychiatrist, fostered an environment where education and logic reigned. But Mark wasn't just smart. He was obsessed with building things, with understanding systems, and with rewriting the code of everyday life. By the time he reached high school at Phillips Exeter Academy, Zuckerberg was already diving deep into computer science and classical languages. He created Synapse, an AI-powered music player that caught the attention of Microsoft and AOL. They wanted to buy it and hire him. But Mark declined. He wasn't in it for a job. He wanted to build the future, not just work for it. That same determination would later earn him not only wealth, but the Axel Springer Award, Forbes honors, and a global platform few could imagine. Harvard was next, and in the hallowed halls of the Ivy League, Mark built what would soon become the world's most powerful social network. The Facebook started as a directory for students, coded in his dorm room. But it quickly exploded beyond campus borders, connecting universities, then cities, then continents. What Mark built wasn't just a platform, it was a digital mirror of human interaction. Years later, this creation would earn him a spot in the Time 100 Most Influential People and global recognition from heads of state, economists, and innovators. But greatness invites controversy. As Facebook grew, so did criticism. Issues of data privacy, mental health, and misinformation began to surface. Yet even amid global scrutiny, Zuckerberg remained a symbol of ambition. He testified before Congress, met with world leaders, and launched major philanthropic efforts. His Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, focused on science and education, led to recognition by organizations like the Smithsonian and Global Citizen Awards. While many saw him as a cold, robotic figure, an archetype of Silicon Valley, others recognized something deeper: a man burdened by the scale of his creation. Honors poured in from the tech world and beyond, including inclusion in Fortune's Business Person of the Year and accolades for pushing the envelope in VR, AI, and internet connectivity. He wasn't just building apps anymore. Mark was building a digital infrastructure for human life. In 2021, Facebook rebranded to Meta, a bold, controversial move that signaled Zuckerberg's total commitment to the Metaverse. Critics laughed, but innovators listened. His work on virtual presence, 3D worlds, and immersive communication earned him praise from global think tanks and technology innovation awards in Asia and Europe. While others chased likes, Mark chased legacy. Behind the scenes, honors continued to stack. Harvard, the university that once watched him drop out, awarded him an honorary degree, a symbolic full circle. The Axel Springer Award, given for innovation and responsibility, called him a visionary leader. These weren't just trophies, they were acknowledgments of transformation, from a coder to a cultural architect. But honors aside, Mark's legacy rests in what comes next. Whether it's global education, digital healthcare, or ethical AI, Meta is now a laboratory of futuristic experiments. And the world, despite skepticism, continues to watch him shape its next operating system. As of now, few people alive have restructured the human experience the way Mark Zuckerberg has. He may never be universally loved, but that was never his mission. Mark's role is not to entertain, it's to build. And builders aren't always understood in their own time. As honors from tech alliances, educational coalitions, and digital rights organizations continue to come in, the narrative of Mark Zuckerberg keeps evolving, not as a man of perfection, but of persistence and precision. This is only the beginning. The real question isn't what Mark has achieved, it's what he'll risk next. For some, he's the villain of the digital age. For others, he's a misunderstood genius. But one thing is certain, he is already written into the blueprint of the 21st century. And the world's highest honors? They're simply catching up. The launch of Reality Labs under Meta's wing was more than a departmental shift. It was a bet on a new civilization. Zuckerberg envisioned a society where presence wasn't limited by geography, where meetings happened through avatars and human interaction evolved into digital immersion. Governments and institutes around the world, from Japan's digital agency to the European Commission on Innovation, acknowledged Meta's role in leading post-internet research. With this vision came bold products: Quest headsets, Horizon workrooms, and spatial audio experiments. While adoption was slow, the innovation was undeniable. In 2022, the World Economic Forum praised Meta's forward-thinking infrastructure, listing Zuckerberg among key drivers of the fourth industrial revolution. Honors now began arriving not just from media, but from futurists, economists, and global planners. As the metaverse matured, so did the world's opinion of Zuckerberg. Once accused of detachment, he was now being studied for his long-term thinking. Harvard Business Review called him a mind decades ahead of his time. In 2023, he received the Tech Trailblazer Lifetime Impact Award, recognizing visionaries under 50 whose work alters global infrastructure. Zuckerberg's shift from Facebook's dopamine-driven algorithm to privacy-focused messaging and encrypted networks signaled another major transformation. With it came recognition from civil rights groups and international policymakers. The Digital Privacy Alliance of Europe awarded him their annual Transparency Leadership Medal, citing Meta's shift toward user control and ethical data flow. But perhaps his most unexpected recognition came from the scientific world. In 2024, Meta AI's protein folding simulation tool, designed to aid biomedical research, was honored by the International Science and Ethics Foundation. Zuckerberg, once only seen as a social media mogul, was now being credited for indirectly advancing global health. Zuckerberg's journey began taking a humanitarian turn. The Chan Zuckerberg BioHub, co-founded with his wife Priscilla Chan, partnered with African universities to combat infectious diseases using predictive models. The African Union Innovation Award recognized their work, a historic honor that acknowledged Meta not just as a tech company, but as a global health ally. In 2025, Zuckerberg addressed the UN Innovation Summit, presenting his roadmap for universal digital access. From undersea fiber cables to drone-based internet coverage, Meta's efforts were finally seen as infrastructure-scale philanthropy. The UN presented Zuckerberg with a Global Connectivity Leadership Award, honoring his commitment to closing the digital divide. Now a decade into running Meta, Zuckerberg had transformed the perception of his role. No longer the awkward coder behind a dorm room site, he was a system architect on a planetary scale. In Silicon Valley, few executives ever achieve both innovation and institutional recognition. But Mark had been honored by MIT, Stanford, and the Royal Society of London for his contributions to digital evolution. Of course, controversies still followed: antitrust probes, content moderation debates, and AI misuse concerns. But for every flaw in the empire he built, honors arrived recognizing the scale of his attempt. The Asian Digital Congress named him Digital Architect of the Decade, citing the sheer volume of change Meta enabled across language, learning, and leadership. Mark Zuckerberg may never have the charisma of a showman or the charm of a politician, but history doesn't reward personalities, it rewards impact. The honors pinned to his name tell the story of a man who rebuilt the internet, redefined connection, and reimagined what tech could mean for the soul of a civilization. And in this world of pixels and pulses, few names are etched deeper into the architecture than his.